Folks, Roger Green here, and I'm with Jason Matozo from Fractal Water. The Imploder has been on the market for several years, right? And we've got great results. Uh, Today with Jason, I just want to go through the several key benefits of the Imploder. It's an incredibly robust design, and it's being used in agriculture, hydroponics, and also home use, right? So, Jason, tell us just quickly a little bit about the where we are with the imploder, the super imploder, and so forth.
Sure. So recently, about 2 years ago, we partnered up with a major manufacturer, um, David Elliott and his group. It's a private equity firm. They saw the potential in fractal water and all the great work that we did, Roger, through the years, like Bloom the Desert. Where we are right now is that we took the project, which was basically like an R&D research and development project, and we scaled it up where we now have commercial products.
It started off as a research and development project with Implosion Group, and then we put the product on the market, and it's gone through various phases. But now these products are at their best. Everything's been radically improved and strengthened, and we've got the super imploder, the ultra
Really history.
imploder.
So we took
Just
that
tell us.
imploder, that research and development design, right? And we basically strengthened it. We found all the little weak points, and we had our amazing engineers, which I partnered with, go through it all, strengthen it. So we now have a verifiable, strong product that could go into any home. So let's go and talk about those two products that you're talking about. So we have two different price points, you could say, but they're really not price points. They're really just different materials. So the Ultra series as the stainless steel series. So the Ultra Imploder series will be stainless steel. And right now we have a 1-inch version of that. So any 1-inch line, a line that's coming into your home, a line that's going into your greenhouse, a line that's going into your business, your commercial hydroponic grow, anything like that, that's a 1-inch line size, and you need stainless steel, meaning that you're probably using potable water for people to drink, something like that. You would use the Ultra series. And it's just a stronger series. It's made of stainless steel. Then we have the second one, which is our Super series. Super series is made of plastic, which is a very special plastic, actually. It's called Techno, and the Techno that we're using is a 30% glass packed one, meaning that there's 30% glass in it. So it's a glass plastic polymer. And the amazing thing about Techno is it is the one that we're using. It is certified by all the certifying bodies in the world for water use, for potable water and regular water reuse. Potable water means you could drink that water. Wow. So we have two. So right now we have the 3/4-inch brand new super imploder, which if you're using the link that Roger's providing, you will get 10% off of that because this is our brand new product and we want to extend it to Roger's network. And that one is made again of Techno, and it is 3/4-inch NPT, meaning that's national pipe thread. So that's pipe thread that's used in America, Canada, and other parts of the world. If you are in an area that uses BSP or BSPT, there are adapters available that will fit that, no problem, to adapt it to your line. So those are the two products that we have right now.
And they're both based on, this concept of bringing two dynamics together, the Goldeming vortex and the magnetic alignment, right, with the implosion. Yeah.
And they're also, and to further expand upon it, these are actually golden ratio sintered magnets, right? So the person that Dan Winter knows designed, I believe, the sintering technology for the magnets, and they are using a little bit of golden ratio in there, meaning that if you were to actually look at the magnetic field that magnets produce, it is in a spiral, if you could see that, right? So it'll be like a spiral, like a tornado almost. From the top of the magnet would be wider, towards the bottom it'll be shorter. It'll be smaller, right? So it is like a tornado field coming off of that magnet, right? So
Yeah.
we are using golden ratio in the magnet technology because that's how the magnetic flux coming from those magnets will naturally arrange itself in.
Yeah, exactly. Completely unique. Hey, look, let's go through some of the benefits.
Sure.
So, uh, when you revitalize, remagnetize water, you get all of these magical effects, like it softens water, it's revitalizing water. So let's just go through some
Yeah,
of
let's
the
go through them
benefits for
because
folks.
putting it in your home, and the reason why we developed this is that we wanted the best water for ourselves, and we designed it, we created it. We wanted this to be able to take this amazing technology, have anyone put that in their home and have that for themselves. So let's go over some of the benefits of putting a super imploder or an ultra imploder. They both could be installed in your home, right? So naturally you're going to be able to soften your water using the vortex and magnetic technology. That is across the board working. You will don't need to use chemicals. This is a replacement for chemical water softening, and that is one of the first things that were seen for the benefits of magnetic water. And of course, we're using the strongest, most powerful golden ratio sintered magnets for you. So we have the best ones available. And I think we're about the strongest in just the magnetic technology of all of our other competitors. So that being said, it will reduce and reverse scale buildup in your home. So if you have copper pipes, other pipes, that will then over time reduce it and then remove that scale, right? And that's going to improve your appliances. So it's going to make your appliances last longer. So on average, you probably could see about 3 to 5 years, up to 10 years extension on your hot water heater, right? Because you're not putting all that scale into this. You're preventing the scale, right? And that's just some of the industrial, commercial type of benefits you will see. So not only that, so you're going to have all of that, commercial, residential benefits that you're not going to see happen, but it's happening in the background. But
Right.
you will feel is when you are drinking that water, when you're using that water in your home, your plants are going to be more healthier. You're going to see that the residue in your showers, your toilets, and your sinks are going to go down. You're not going to see that film on the shower door anymore over a period of time once it removes that scale from your pipes. And it will increase your water pressure, of course, because you are reducing the scale, so your water pressure goes up, right? And you're going to see softer skin and hair. And the best part is there's zero maintenance. You don't have to plug it in. You don't have to add chemicals to it. You don't have to take it out to clean it, etc. It's just you plug it in and you forget about it. And then you have it in your home and you also have a garden. So you're going to see that those garden benefits. You're going to see about 20 to 30% less water usage in your own garden. You're going to improve the plant vigor, and disease resistance of those plants. You're going to get better quality, more nutrient dense produce in your own garden. You're going to not have to use fertilizers or pesticides or greatly reduce that use of it. And if you're watering your lawn, you're going to have a really good uniform turf or uniform grass in your home, in your lawn. So let's go to the
Yeah.
wellness benefits. So what we don't talk about is like, okay, what is this going to do for my own health, right? And amazingly, Roger, there was a study done in 2017, and it was published in the Biomedical Science Journal by the Science Publishing Group. So this is a major scientific journal. So we're going to read the conclusion really quick of what magnetic water does. Now, this is just magnetic water. So what we're doing is we're combining the vortex structuring and the magnets together to really supercharge that water for you. So it says it can be concluded that magnetic water treatment improves blood picture, biochemical parameters, semen quality, and antioxidant status in human and animals. Magnetic water is very effective in breaking up kidney stones and gallbladder stones and prevents future formation of stones in the kidneys and gallbladder. It alleviates arthritis and reduces blood pressure. Prevention of treatment, and it's a prevention of treatment of osteoporosis. Helps unclog the arteries and veins of deposits of cholesterol and scale and normalize the circulatory system. So the same thing is doing in your own home, in your own pipes, it's doing within your own body. Okay. So that's what we really want to kind of put home to everyone here. So this is it's a multi-factor approach. You're helping your own home out, your environment, but you're also doing your temple, your body. So
Sure.
it
And
helps.
Jason, I'd just like to add, anybody who's been following the work of Gerard Pollack with
Yes,
what's referred to as the fourth phase of water, that, people are really, really realizing that we're really just one big gel of, structured water, right? And once you start to get that water structure, every cell in the body is surrounded by structured water and saturated fats, right? And once you start to get that recharged, your mitochondria is going to work a lot better. Your cells are going to function a lot better. You're going to have more energy, more chi, more circulation, etc. Right? So that's again one of the amazing benefits of restructuring, recharging your water. Yeah.
exactly. And it really is amazing because when you drink this water, so what it does is it's gonna have like calcium, other types of things that are in your bloodstream in your body bind to that water that you drank, and then you're gonna pass it through your body. So you're gonna be slowly passing the contaminants in your body out of your body by drinking this water. That's really what the science behind it does.
Yeah. So,
So,
Jason, it's been used a lot in agriculture. Let's go through a few of your slides because we really do have a long list of testimonials, various projects we've done. Bloom the Desert, of course, happened, 14 years ago. Uh, let's take a look at what you got here.
all right,
Because,
so we're going to go through some of the agricultural benefits that we've seen over the years with fractal water. This is when we were at the 10-year mark where we compiled a lot of our data to present.
yeah,
So this would be the nozzle, how it's designed. Of course, this is using Dan Winter's um, equation for golden ratio, which is golden ratio times Planck length times Planck time, scaled by Planck time. And that's going to give us that perfect golden ratio, the same one that you see in the center of the Milky Way galaxy, all the way down to your DNA spiral.
yeah.
Right. And of course, we have Dan Winter, the man himself, with that, who came out with that equation. And let me tell you, every single day, there's some validation going on with that. So that's something to really follow Dan Winter. All right, so this was the first version of the super imploder, as we talked about how it went through many versions. So we're gonna just kind of pass through that. This is our second version, right?
Right.
And this is our ultra imploder, which is the stainless steel version of that, right? And here, which is not pictured, is our brand new super imploder that we created. Like I said, that's the one that you got 10% off by using the link in this video. So we're gonna go through an overview of what we do.
A spiral or vortex is one of the most common forms in nature and the universe. Yet few understand the everyday miracle that occurs at the singularity of a vortex. Implosion, the non-destructive compression of matter into a new and specific structure. As above, so below. Similarly overlooked is the ancient knowledge of Earth's ley lines and the powerful effect those magnetic forces have on water, as seen in holy wells at crossings all around the planet. Imagine being able to have the benefits of implosion combined with the magnetic tuning inside a sacred holy well, right from your sink, your shower, your pool, and even your ice maker. Our Fractal Water Ultra Imploder can easily be installed at the water mains of any home or building, providing more than 30 years of guaranteed continuous fractal water using nothing more than municipal water pressure running through our Ultra Imploder and permanent magnetic enclosure. Visit our website to learn the science behind this device and to see testimonials from happy customers.
So let's go. All right, so let's see how fractal water was installed in the grow room, meaning this is a MMJ medical marijuana grow, which they had the super imploder throughout, and they have it throughout. They have it on every reservoir. So they have it looping on a reservoir, meaning that it's pumping the water out of the reservoir into the super imploder and then back into the reservoir on a loop all day. So that water is constantly being fractal water charged throughout the day. And that is the grow room. I mean, these people had to increase about 30 to 40% in mass and weight. So you could see what it does for your profit line, your profit margin, right? So this person got a 68% increase in hydroponics for the weight, which is pretty darn good, right? So we take a very normal grower and turn them into a phenomenal grower. We take a phenomenal grower and turn them into the world's best grower. Really, this is just another tool for a grower. So let's take a look at the root difference, right? So on the right, you'll see regular tap water. On the left, you'll see the super imploder water, and you could just see the massive difference in just the roots alone. And this is one in Russia on a sprayer, super imploder on a sprayer. And on the right, you'll see wheat that was grown with the super imploder. On the left is regular wheat that was untreated, just regular water. And you could just see the difference here. Right. And this is we had a hydroponic trial done by Growzine magazine. It's a online magazine just for hydroponics. And you will see that we had about 100 grams more in basil than the control, right? And on top of that, we had the Brix meter goes up. So Brix, what it does is it measures nutrient density. So on the right, you'll see that the Brix is about 5.5 as opposed to 4.5 with the control. So our plants are more nutrient dense. That means the plant could hold more nutrients in the leaves. And again, so this is a study that was done where we took the Fractal water super imploder we ran it through 1 time and 2 times, right? And you'll see the growth difference. You'll see imploded water here, which is pretty darn big. And then you see double imploded. See how it's a little bit larger, right? So if you go through more than 1 time, that water keeps charging. So that's why we have multiple devices in line to run, or we loop that system. Because the more you run it through, the more powerful that water is. So we're going to just see how some people put the ultra imploder in their home. And again, we're talking about the ultra stainless steel. The super is plastic. You could also put the new super imploder in your home as well, right? It depends on the price point that you want to get in at. So this is one in Florida. This is one in Ohio. It's another one in Ohio. So it just shows you different ways and how you could put this into your home, right? This is, I forgot his name, but he's a really cool guy. I think his name is Steve. Put that in his home. This is another one in the home. And okay, this is a macadamia nut study that we've done in South Africa, right? And I think this is a video, so we could just go right through and see this video. Here we go.
This is Nicole Boergaars, 15 February, comparing magnetic trial. On the right hand side is the magnetic water treatment, and on the left hand side is the control. Visually you can see a big difference in green color. The lighter green on the right hand side indicates much more new growth after grafting. These bigger boards can indicate different grafting ages and different cultivars. This is just to visually show the difference between new growth. As you can see on the right hand side, this is the magnetic treated water compared to the left hand side, which the new growth has only just started showing. The darker leaves are the rootstock, and you can see they were grafted. .842 was the cutting that was grafted onto the rootstock. This is the magnetic rootstock 695, and its direct comparison on the opposite side. Again, rootstock 695 and 842 grafted on top of it. Irrigation was from the top, mist sprayers. So the one pipeline on the right hand side had the imploder connected to it, and on the left hand side just normal irrigated water. Irrigation is manually so that it's controlled due to rainy days and weather like this when irrigation is not needed, just to avoid overwatering. The difference between the shorter plants and the longer ones is grafting. So this is what they would look like before they are grafted, and then when that piece is cut off so that the new cutting is on top, they're a bit shorter and new growth is shown. Just for interest's sake, on the right hand side with the magnetic water treatment, grafting was able to be taken place 2 months or a month and a half before the control, which means the thickness of the stem was thick enough much earlier for grafting. According to Mark Hassenkamp, the owner of Red Sun Nursery, the grafting was much quicker, much better. On the right hand side you can see the imploder connected to the irrigation system.
All right, so here's one that you're familiar with, Roger. This is that Bloom the Desert protocol that you had created. So maybe that you could talk a little bit about how Fractal Water helped you out and your project in the Bloom the Desert for a research project.
Sure. Well, we had a trial desert farm just outside of Dubai that some friends of mine in Dubai organized for me that I was able to use as for this experiment. It did go over a couple of years. I went there about 4 or 5 times. Essentially, we tested the desert sand first, and it has a high pH, obviously, which is why nothing grows there. It was 13.2, and the whole protocol was to use cost-effective methods to, first of all, bring down the high pH to something manageable that you could then start to use smaller amounts of fertilizer. The way they farm there is they just load it up with chemicalized fertilizers, right? So what we used was, we did have access to water, but then of course, you know, if anybody would study primary water, wherever you are in the world, there are techniques of actually tapping into the Earth's deep water, but that's like another subject. We had water available here, and we had some tailor-made microbes that would help to transmute the desert sand. So we'd only put like 1 or 2 teaspoons of these microbes. I and my team were out there digging trenches, right? So we had these rows where we put down, first of all, biochar. Now, biochar is magnificent. We were able to make some of the biochar there, but there's really not much kind of wood and all of that lying around. So we actually got some off charcoal from a factory there, and we crushed it up and a little bit more. And so I would disperse the biochar down first, and then we put in the super imploder into like a little hut, because you know, the sun there is really, really hot, right? And I connected all of the water line up to and we drip feed these lines of biochar. So we had the microbes, we had the supercharged imploder water. I was able to make orbitally rearranged molecular elements just by going to the ocean, which was only about an hour and a half's drive. And I brought it back to the farm, and I was able to make ormus, which is macro and micro minerals. And essentially, we didn't use any fertilizer or anything else. The whole idea was to be able to prove that we were able to bring that down, and we had it independently validated, and we got it down to 8.2 pH after 2 or 3 months. So I would set that up, I'd go back home, and then we'd get the independent analysis done in about 3 to 4 months, and that's where we got this wonderful result. I came back and then planted, cabbages and carrots, again, without any fertilizer, and we had, reasonably good success with a variety of crops. But then the next phase was just to use the same low-cost methods, but just with a small amount of organic fertilizer. And of course, we had wonderful results with that. And the whole point of this exercise was not only demonstrating how you can bloom the desert, but how you can also bring down fertilizer costs that places like India and other third world communities, it costs a lot of money and they often go into debt around fertilizer. So the point of the exercise was to demonstrate how you could reduce those fertilizer costs by 60, 70%, and just use the recharging water, biochar, microbes, right, and humus, which is quite easy to make, right? Now, obviously, you do need to use eventually some fertilizer, of course, right? And there's great potential, as you know. A lot of countries are asleep at the wheel with blooming their deserts, but there are certain countries around the world, Inner Mongolia and all sorts of places, who are actually doing magnificent things with regaining their deserts.
Exactly.
Revitalizing what is now a desert, which never used to be a desert.
Yeah, that's right. If you look at the work of James DeMeo, it's one of them that knows. He made a book called Saharasia, where everything that's in the entire Sahara region that's a desert now was a rainforest about maybe 4,000, 5,000 years ago. That's correct.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
So let's go take a look
Bloom
at
the
that
Desert
video.
project here, where we've used low-cost technologies, just things like biochar, ormes, microbes, and a little bit of organic fertilizer, and we're growing crops here. And we've actually just created this shade house. I've got some special luminate shade cloth coming in from America, and it's not just shade cloth, it actually also reduces the temperature by, some say, by 70%, which is fantastic, because shade cloth is good, but it's actually getting the temperature down for crops like banana and pineapple, which of course are just excellent to not only eat in this kind of environment, but to grow. And they don't grow it here. The main problem here is the desert sand. Now remember, right from the start, this is actually organic growing. There's no chemical fertilizers being used here whatsoever. This is this wonderful hydrogel. So look how well it expands. Wonderful. So this is a great water retainer, great moisture retainer. So that's secret formula number one. I've got my ormes here that we've made from the ocean. Wonderful quantity of ormes. The ocean here is very strong in minerals and salt. I have my biochar here, and we got this done into packets. And I have a little bit of fertilizer, local, well, not fertilizer, manure. This is camel manure, and we're fortunate enough to actually have a little bit of pigeon manure here. So this imploder is going to energize the water in this greenhouse and this field here. So you can see it all nicely installed. And then that water essentially comes out to this feed here, and it's going to drip feed this area here, and our shaded house here. And we're going to do a variety of crops here, from carrots to cabbages to onions to all sorts of other greens, cucumbers, marrows, etc. After 2.5 days, come and have a look at this. Come over here, hurry, with your camera. Get a shot of what we got down here. Look at that, 2.5 days, can you believe it? Now that's our canaf, and canaf I think you're going to be hearing quite a little bit of over the next year or two, and Bill's been doing some wonderful work there. And I've planted all along here, and we'll germinate it here, and then later we'll take it out to another little shed that we prepared this afternoon with the same process with biochar and hydrogel and ormies, etc. So when these get a little bit higher, we'll be able to transpose them to a shed, and then when they get about, say, 6 feet, maybe 5 feet, we'll then be able to put them out into our outdoor areas in between the rows of our crops to provide shade, of course, right? But just check this out. After 2 days, we've got some other things growing here. You know, I've planted some Chinese greens. I've planted, look down here, hurry. See, look at this, look at this. After 2 days, look at this. So we've planted in here a whole variety. Chinese greens, cauliflower, zucchini, onions, melons, etc. So so the prana and the life force and the nutrition in here is, of course, just wonderful. And you can see it for yourself. 2.5 days, I've got sprouts growing all over the place. So the idea, of course, is some of these can just keep growing in here, and others, like the cauliflower, will be able to easily transpose to their outdoor crops. So this is the end of August. As far as the outdoor is concerned, as I've mentioned, we're going to wait 1 month before we plant. In the meantime, every day I've got like a scoop of ormies and some microbes going into our big tank, which is then drip feeding our outdoor area. Right? So that's it, folks. And of course, we've got our, as you saw before, we've got our Imploder from theimploder.com, all engineered up there on the outside to energize the water for all of our outdoor areas, growing crops in the desert. So that's all from Bloom the Desert. Jason, wonderful. You know, incredible results. Really incredible products now that are on the market available. We've got a new manufacturing partner, an international manufacturing partner who's behind this as well. So the products are readily available, shipped straight away. We've got a bit of a deal with the 10% affiliation link that you can see here. And we're good to go. What final remarks, Jason?
Again, you know, this has been an incredible journey of 14, 15 years. We've had people from all over the world send us their results of how they're using Fractal water. And every day there's always something new. I have a customer that's in outside of Los Angeles. They're using that in a facility for pets. So you bring your dog there. The dog drinks that water. They do all kinds of other holistic, holistic medicine, etc. for that dog, and then they send them on their way. So these are just different things that you could think of. Anything that you're going to use water for, we're going to make that process better, and that's what we're for. And we want to use that golden ratio, ancient technology that's now new again for that purpose specifically.
Great. Thanks, Jason.
Thank you, Roger. Have a good one.
Well, right now I just ventured into growing hydroponically. I've done all the other methods that you can do for growing. I grew in the ground, I grew in containers, I grew in greenhouses out in the fields. This is a much cleaner environment, much easier to maintain. Crops are a lot cleaner. A lot of this stuff is going on a trial, and I didn't know how long it was going to take or be ready. So what I'm doing is I have a mass emailing list with what I have available at the time, and we're just going through different greens every single week, 20 different types of stuff. And by the way this stuff's growing, it's going to be, you know, I'm going to have a lot to offer that. It worked out very well because I have everything set up for 3/4. You brought me a 3/4 setup, and basically all I did was disconnect one of the feed lines that was coming out of my ball valve there, and I screwed in your system right into where I would screw in my fitting that would come out of that ball valve. And you know, it took me all of probably 10 minutes to put it up. By using that, it was making the micronutrients more available to the plants where they had a problem without it. What was normally taking me about 2 weeks to transplant them, I can cut it down probably another 3 or 4 days, taking a week off the plant on an overall length of time on a 5-week cycle. Saving time, I'm saving money, and the plants look really nice. They were not as green. As soon as I put that magnetic water device in there, everything greened right up. You know, they're much bigger. This is the first seedling crop when I started the Imploder, and that's where I noticed the big difference. Is, you know, I waited the 2 weeks to plant this, and it was too long. You know, I broke a lot of the plants putting them in because they got too big, too fast. You know, so my cycle was every Thursday I would come in and I would transplant from the seedling trays into the troughs. And you know, when I got to this, I'm like, holy cow, these things are a lot bigger than the ones before. With the magnetic water, yeah. I mean, so now I'm cutting that down. Instead of 2 weeks, I'll do it, you know, roughly 10 days. I didn't expect this to be ready so soon. On a 5-week cycle, if I'm taking a week off, that's 10 extra weeks that I'm saving. If I'm getting 2 extra weeks a year out of the crop, and let's just say I'm doing 1,000 units a week, and say I make 50 cents a unit, it already paid for itself.